What if your brain wasn't the problem, but the way the world expects you to use it was? Millions of adults with ADHD don't struggle because they're lazy or undisciplined. They struggle because the modern workplace is built for one kind of mind, and theirs runs on a completely different operating system. But here's the reality. When you learn to work with your brain instead of against it, what used to feel like chaos can turn into creativity, momentum, and flow. In this video, we're exploring 10 practical, psychology-backed ways to manage ADHD in the workplace. Not by forcing yourself to fit the mold, but by building systems that actually fit you. And trust me, number 10 will completely change the way you see ADHD forever. This is the Money Compendium, where we uncover the psychology, habits, and hidden strategies behind focus, productivity, and real-world success. Number 1. Turn chaos into structure you actually enjoy. Most people with ADHD don't struggle because they lack willpower. They struggle because the way they're told to organize their lives doesn't fit how their brain naturally works. Traditional productivity systems reward consistency over curiosity, but the ADHD brain thrives on stimulation, movement, and emotional meaning. When structure feels lifeless, your mind treats it like a threat and instinctively resists. The goal isn't to force discipline, but to make structure feel safe and engaging. Use visual cues, color, and variety to make order feel alive. Try categorizing tasks by energy level rather than importance, or build your schedule around themes instead of rigid hours. These small tweaks tell your brain, this is your world, not someone else's rulebook. When structure feels flexible instead of punishing, your brain stops fighting it and starts flowing with it. You're not lazy, you're wired differently. And up next, you'll learn how to take that difference and turn it into a strength by redefining what attention really means. Number 2. Treat attention like a resource, not a character flaw. If you've ever blamed yourself for being bad at focus, it's time to drop that narrative. ADHD doesn't mean you lack attention. It means your attention operates on a different economy. You have bursts of hyperfocus and valleys of distraction, and that rhythm isn't failure. It's your brain's energy cycle. Start seeing attention as currency. You have a daily mental budget, and some tasks are expensive while others are cheap. Spend your focus where it has the most impact, on creative or strategic work, and save routine tasks for when your energy dips. Instead of forcing productivity, design your workflow to match your brain's natural rhythm. This mindset shift moves you out of shame and into strategy. You can't make attention infinite, but you can invest it intelligently. When you treat focus as something to manage, not something to fix, your productivity grows without burnout. And next, we'll explore the hidden ADHD superpower that most people mistake for distraction: movement. Number 3. Use movement as a cognitive shortcut. Ever notice how you focus better when pacing, doodling, or fidgeting? That's not distraction. That's self-regulation. For people with ADHD, movement increases dopamine and enhances executive functioning. In simple terms, your body is literally helping your brain stay engaged. So instead of forcing yourself to sit still, incorporate motion into your workflow. Take walking meetings, use a standing desk, or keep a fidget tool handy. Even short bursts of stretching between tasks can reset your brain and sharpen focus. Movement isn't a break from work. It's part of how your brain processes and transitions between thoughts. Think of physical motion as a mental refresh button. It turns restlessness into rhythm and gives your thoughts space to breathe. Your brain doesn't want stillness. It wants stimulation that keeps it awake. And number 4 builds on this idea because when your environment supports that stimulation in the right way, everything else falls into place. Number 4. Design your environment to match your mind. Your environment is either a distraction minefield or a focus amplifier. And for ADHD, that line is razor thin. Every notification, pile of papers, or cluttered desktop sends a look here signal to your brain. You can't out-discipline your surroundings. You have to redesign them. Create a space that cues focus instead of chaos. Use color and lighting intentionally. Bright light for active work, warm tones for calm or reflection. Keep only essential tools in sight. For ADHD brains, out of sight often means out of mind. The goal isn't minimalism, it's visibility, making the right things stand out and the wrong things disappear. Your brain loves pattern and predictability. When your environment feels coherent and calm, your nervous system follows. Think of your workspace as an external hard drive for your mind, one that holds your attention for you. And next, we'll translate this environmental balance into time itself by building rhythms, not rigid routines. Number 5, build rhythms, not routines. The ADHD brain craves novelty, not monotony. That's why traditional routines fall apart. Doing the same thing the same way every day feels like slow suffocation. But rhythm is different. Rhythm gives your days shape and movement without boxing you in. A rhythm might mean starting your day with stimulation, exercise, sunlight, or music, before diving into focused work. Maybe you follow work bursts with micro rewards or rotate your environment every few hours to reset attention. The point is to create a flow that feels alive, not repetitive. Rhythms flex, routines snap. When you work with your brain instead of against it, consistency stops feeling like a trap and starts feeling like momentum. You're not trying to become more rigid. You're trying to become more reliable to yourself. And if you think that sounds impossible, wait until you see how dopamine scheduling can turn motivation into something you can actually control. Number 6, use dopamine scheduling to beat procrastination. Dopamine is the ADHD brain's fuel, and when it runs low, even the simplest task feels impossible. That's why just start rarely works. Motivation doesn't come before action, it's created through reward and feedback. Dopamine scheduling turns this chemistry into a strategy by giving your brain small, frequent hits of progress instead of waiting for one big payoff at the end. Break large projects into smaller, visible steps. After each mini-win, add a quick reward. Stretch, check your phone guilt-free, or listen to a favorite song. These micro-rewards tell your brain that effort equals satisfaction, which builds momentum instead of resistance. It's behavioral science, not bribery. When you learn to time rewards with effort, procrastination stops being a moral failure and becomes a signal. Your brain telling you it needs stimulation, not shame. Dopamine scheduling trains your mind to enjoy progress instead of fear it. And if you've ever felt mentally drained before even starting your day, number 7 will show you how to stop that drain before it starts. Number 7, reduce decision fatigue. Before it destroys your focus. Every tiny choice, what to wear, what to eat, which task to start, chips away at your brain's limited pool of executive energy. For ADHD, this mental battery drains even faster. Decision fatigue is why you can overthink a 2-minute choice but struggle to start a 2-hour project. The key isn't more discipline, it's fewer daily decisions. Simplify wherever possible. Batch similar tasks together, automate recurring ones, and prepare tomorrow's essentials, clothes, meals, or task lists on the night before. Templates and systems aren't about rigidity. They're about conserving your brain power for creativity and problem solving. When you streamline the small things, your mental energy stays available for what truly matters. Decision fatigue thrives in clutter. Clarity thrives in preparation. Think of every saved choice as a deposit in your focus bank. And number 8 will show you why the right people around you can multiply that focus, or quietly drain it away. Number 8, surround yourself with accountability and empathy. ADHD doesn't just affect how you think. It affects how you relate to others. Isolation amplifies distraction, shame, and time blindness. Accountability provides external structure, but empathy makes that structure sustainable. You need people who understand your brain, not those who pressure it to behave normally. Find a partner, mentor, or coworker who helps you stay on track without judgment. Try body doubling, working alongside someone quietly, even virtually. This shared presence activates your brain's reward system and makes focus feel social rather than solitary. It transforms work into connection. The right kind of accountability doesn't make you feel watched. It makes you feel supported. It replaces shame with shared progress. ADHD isn't meant to be managed in isolation. It's meant to be co-regulated with compassionate structure. And speaking of structure, number 9 will help you see why true productivity depends on rest, not endless effort. Number 9, redefine rest as recovery, not reward. Most people treat rest like a trophy you earn after hard work. But for ADHD, rest isn't indulgence, it's maintenance. Skipping rest is like skipping oil changes. You can run for a while, but eventually the system overheats. The ADHD brain burns through dopamine and executive function faster, so strategic rest isn't optional. It's essential. Differentiate between passive and active recovery. Passive rest numbs. Scrolling, zoning out, endless TV. Active recovery recharges. Walking, creative hobbies, time in nature, or meditation. The goal isn't to stop moving, it's to restore mental balance and emotional clarity. When rest becomes part of your productivity system, guilt disappears and sustainability takes its place. You start working with your brain's natural rhythm instead of punishing it for needing breaks. Rest is how you refill the tank that focus burns. And number 10 will take that same compassion and turn it into a full reframe of what ADHD actually means. Number 10, redefine ADHD as a design problem, not a defect. Here's the truth. ADHD isn't broken. It's just mismatched with how most workplaces are designed. Modern systems reward linear, task-based focus, while ADHD brains excel at pattern recognition, innovation, and rapid adaptation. When you stop trying to fit a structure that punishes your wiring, your brain stops resisting and starts thriving. Design systems that externalize memory. Use whiteboards, voice notes, or visual task trackers. Channel impulsivity into creativity and quick problem solving. Build environments that guide your attention instead of demanding it. You don't have to fix your ADHD. You just need to build a life that's ergonomically designed for your mind. When you see ADHD as a design challenge, you reclaim control. The question stops being, "What's wrong with me?" and becomes, "What system fits me best?" That's not weakness, that's mastery. Because when your brain finally feels safe to be itself, it stops surviving and starts excelling. The truth is, ADHD isn't a weakness. It's a different kind of intelligence waiting to be properly directed. Once you understand how your mind allocates energy, how it seeks stimulation, and how it responds to structure, you can stop fighting your brain and start designing for it. You're not trying to fix your focus. You're learning how to master it. And that same mindset shift is exactly what separates average performers from extraordinary ones, in business, in wealth, and in life. In our next video, we'll explore 5 mental shifts that separate millionaires from the middle class, the kind of psychological reprogramming that builds long-term success from the inside out. But before you go, I want to hear from you. Which of these ADHD strategies hit home the most, or which one are you going to try first? Drop your answer in the comments, and let's keep building a smarter, more sustainable kind of success together.